Oceans. I've been 10,000 miles in the mouth of a graveyard, and it's a hard, and it's a hard, and it's a hard, and it's a hard, and it's a hard rains are gonna fall.
Welcome to Rabcast. I'm Daniel Weiner. This month marks the 50th anniversary of the Cuban Missile Crisis, a trial by fire for the young President Kennedy, and considered by most to be the closest we came to heating the Cold War into a nuclear conflagration. Despite its relatively recent place in our history, it's difficult to separate myth from fact. Some newly released material suggests that the famous Soviet blink, when facing American destroyers eyeball to eyeball, didn't really happen. Yet this legend of America's determined heroic confrontation has inspired generations of a foreign policy advocating the use of increasingly larger sticks over more subtle and effective carrots. But Kennedy's resolve was instrumental, not so much in confronting Khrushchev as in facing down his own military. The bellicosity of a Pentagon that planned and pushed for a survivable tactical nuclear war on the island of Cuba was as great a threat as the Soviet posturing itself. Kennedy and Khrushchev had to ultimately transcend the fog of war and rein in the momentum of their military-industrial complexes to avoid the unthinkable. And they did so through protracted negotiation, compromise, and an unwillingness to step into the abyss. Separating myth from fact 50 years hence is critical to gleaning the enduring actual lessons of this anxious moment. In this week's portion, Parshat Noach, we encounter the Noah story so cute and cuddly for generations of preschool animal lovers. But as is often the case with our sacred narrative, adult insight is as engaging as youthful flourishes. God decides to take a cosmic mulligan on creation, which had descended into corruption and violence. God would start again with Noah as the new Adam, recreating the world with a righteous, blameless leader who walked with God in concerted moral vision, a vision of a world without violence. After the floodwaters recede and life is reestablished, God forges a covenant with Noah and all of forthcoming humanity. The rainbow would be a sign to remind us that God would never again flood the earth, destroying all flesh. It is an iconic and ironic symbol, an archetype of war tellingly repurposed as a signifier of restoration and peace. But while most see in the rainbow an expression of God's commitment, we are not merely passive observers of this testament. The rainbow also obligates us to moral vision and action. While God will not punish the world for its excesses and sins, we remain quite capable of self-destruction, of utilizing our skill, ingenuity, and passion to forge the tools of our own demise, of perverting the power of creation into the seeds of devastation. And so it is left to us to transcend the soul sickness of hatred and evil of war, to create and sustain a world reflective of God's renewed creative vision and expressive of our highest capability. In the coming weeks, we will again choose a leader of the most powerful nation in human history. And despite an increasingly uncertain and dangerous world, we must remember the need for judicious wielding of power, thoughtful assessment of threat, and enduring recourse to all options of negotiation with our enemies. In this week's portion, we learn, in the depths of our soul, we must concede that the corrupting call of violence is a failure of will and wisdom, not an extension of it. Unleashing the dogs of war must be a final, last resort in a world in which saber-rattling jingoism and military adventurism can so easily be rationalized as necessary defense of our freedom. Our tradition teaches that true freedom lies more in restraint than in license, and true strength lies more in the courage of our convictions than in the exercise of raw power. Shabbat Shalom.